There's a 3-step formula that most people are missing that's really blocking the relationship results they want and even the life results they want, to be honest with you. Now, I know that sounds like an oversimplification, which it kind of is, but follow me. When I give you these 3 steps, you'll see how they all fit together towards exactly what I'm talking about. Where, yes, we have the obstacles of, finding that person out there in the world that you want to be with in the first place, right? Working through the trenches of the dating market and then actually building with that person. And when you get into the relationship, having effective communication and all the things, right? And good strategies for working through conflict resolution, all the stuff. But the more you build out all the fine details and you get really meticulous about it, is the more complicated you make the equation when everything operates at scale, right? Meaning, yes, you can magnify in and zero in on something and really see all the inner workings of it, but then you also scale out and simplify sometimes to make it more digestible. So you can have an overall of what needs to happen, and then you can work down into the details as you go, but you want to have the overall framework to make sure you always keep perspective whenever you are operating inside of whatever your journey is. And so if you do this effectively, you'll come to learn and realize, if you've gotten effective results in anything in your life or even relationships, right, that it always boils down to, first, having a really well vetted life philosophy that serves you. Meaning you have taken the time. I think philosophy is, it's like an educated belief system, right? It's like you've done, things, you've had experiences, you have, done research, maybe because your life is research in a way, right? You've gone through things and then you've gone to go learn from people and so forth, and you've tried stuff, you've got outcomes, and you start to shape your belief system of how you see the world and so forth, maybe even relationships, which that stuff starts to become your philosophy for how you see things, right? The thing that governs your way of operating. Principles are worked into your philosophy, life philosophy. But where a lot of people go wrong in this step is they have philosophies that really don't serve them. They're really negative, maybe pessimistic, or they're philosophies that don't empower them. It puts them in more of a victim space, or puts them more at the mercy of whatever life or the things outside of them does, gives them the results of, versus them taking control of their situation, right? Or they give themselves a pass by telling themselves, all people are this way, or all things are that way, or whatever. They say stuff that eases the mind to make it make sense why they're not getting a certain outcome, versus the ability they have to create exactly what they want, right? So always remember, your life philosophy that you live by should be one that is always helpful to you, positive to you, loving for you, feeds your spirit, and builds you up. All 5, because that's what serves you. If whatever your philosophy is does not work into that parameter of serving, then it's not serving you, and therefore it's not serving the results you actually want to get and are actually capable of getting. Step 2 is having a clearly defined game plan, or otherwise known as strategy, to achieve or execute whatever your philosophy is. Now, let's be clear here. When I was talking about the philosophy, we're talking about, hey, how you see the world and what you see needing to happen in order to get whatever result you're trying to get, based off of how you see the world and what you believe in, your principles and your morals and so forth, right? Values, right? So then once you get clear on that, then you have to have a well vetted enough game plan, well crafted, right? Meaning, what's the strategy? What am I going to do to bring what I'm thinking up here, what I believe, to fruition, to reality? Because a lot of people spend a lot of time in the conceptual space of philosophy, right? And things they think, but they don't transfer it to the physical world, like to actions. Like what do I have to do? How do I put that together? How do I execute this? Right? Or people do the opposite. They have all of this strategy and this game plan, but they've done a poor job at stopping to have a more refined and serving philosophy and perspective that will actually fuel better strategy creation and game planning, right? So that's so essential to not only get clear on what your beliefs are, but then to organize those into something clear and concise that can be done to bring what's up here to the outside physical world. Then the third, but definitely not the least important step, right? Because all three of these they're all almost equally important, if you want to say that, right? But the third piece is consistent execution of the game plan, of the strategy. And that is probably, or this is probably the biggest piece where people struggle the most, drop the ball the most, and ultimately come up short, right? Because some people do a great job at, building their philosophy. Because you have majority of people do a poor job at their philosophies, right? They have philosophies left and right that don't serve them, right? And as it trickles down, even a little bit less people, maybe they have a decent philosophy, but the strategy they came up with based off the philosophy doesn't connect. It doesn't get them there. But the worst part is even people that have the best philosophy sometimes where they maybe spend a whole bunch of time working on themselves, right? Towards their relationships or towards life or whatever, investing into classes and coaching and therapy and all the things. And they've done a bang up job at getting a lot more clear on, perspective and philosophies that may serve them. But when it came to the strategy piece, they did a decent job, maybe not the greatest, but maybe they crushed it. Maybe they got a great strategy too. But when it came down to the last piece, the execution, consistently, that's where they falter, right? You can do all the great preparation, get your mind right, and get the great strategy. But if you don't actually put the foot to the pavement consistently enough and diligently enough, and you stay with it, and you're being efficient enough, you're not going to get the result, right? Because that is the physical doing part of the plan you've crafted from the perspective and the philosophy that you started with, your belief system. And the core reason why most people falter when it comes to the actual execution stage, right? The consistent implementation of the strategy is because when you're in the philosophical space, right? The perspective, the belief system space, that's all just thought up here mentally. Your mind can do that for days, right? Because it doesn't require any physical energy of the body, at least. Yes, it requires some energy of the mind, and that's coming from the body, right? But you don't have to go do things with your physical attributes. Then when it comes to the strategy, right, using your intellect to put together something that you can see on paper and say, hey, that's what I need to go execute, which makes you feel good that you have some formula, right? That's awesome, but it still doesn't require legwork. And so you can do all the planning, but you can't plan for the feeling and the energy that gets exuded and it gets, exhausted through actual execution in the physical world, right? The law of energy and so forth, and you utilizing it, right? That is the probably hardest piece. And so you could do all the mental preparation of what it would be like in theory, but until you have to actually go do it, you're not going to actually know what's required to get to that end of that finish line, which you have to actually go through. You have to feel and experience that. And that's where the difficulty gets to be the highest. This is why the name of the game, whether it's life results you're trying to get or relationship results, even from repairing issues that you have with your partner, let's just think through it real fast, right? So whether you have all this conflict with your partner, it first starts with, okay, what's my philosophy around this? Is it a serving philosophy? What part of my role is not helping our situation, right? Let me get clear on that. Then, okay, now that I'm clear on that, what kind of strategy, what kind of plan can we come up with together to actually get rid of this issue? Because maybe we've never gotten so clear on what the core root problem is and got a clearly defined game plan in the first place to fix things. Then the last step, all right, now how do I be consistent? Because it's going to be difficult. Whenever we have that bump on the road again, that same argument comes up again, it's going to be hard to implement the plan because it sounds great in theory until you actually have to do it and your emotions are in the ball game. Now you have to really stay disciplined and keep doing it consistently, right? This is why speed of implementation is so crucial. The faster you get the philosophy, the faster you get the strategy or the game plan from the philosophy, the faster you must go start acting and doing. The more time you give yourself to think without just blindly acting after you've done the clarity and the visual work, right? In the intentional vetting process for your plan, get into action, be consistent, because paradigm is a real thing. If you don't know what a paradigm is, it's a collection of subconscious thoughts that fire off without your conscious necessity, right? Meaning habit. pattern, the things you've fed into yourself time and time again, to where your subconscious adopted it and it worked it into your nervous system, and it became you. It gets into your body to where you just go off without even thinking about it. And so if you've been operating one way for so long, it's going to be really hard to implement a new philosophy and strategy or plan and take action on it consistently if it goes against your old wiring. So the faster you can implement a new philosophy and game plan with actions consistently is the faster you will change your results tremendously. And you can apply this anywhere in life, whether it's for your career stuff, right? Am I aiming for the right things in my career? Or is what I'm aiming for to build in life, is it actually serving me? Is it bringing me fulfillment, or just bringing me results, money and stuff? Or will I actually feel happy with myself when I'm doing it, right? Then, well, what's a better strategy to go do something that I actually would love, but also get paid for it, where I can feel fulfillment and feel like I'm being successful? And then what can I start doing repetitiously to get away from what I've been doing? Or let's look at dating for a second. Oh, am I seeing this right about how I think about approaching dating? Am I, thinking about men or women in the right light to even put myself in the right vibration to attract healthier people to me, positive people to me? Am I being positive? Is my way of seeing the world in that way helping me towards that? Is this serving me? Then my game plan, my strategy. Okay, now that I'm thinking this way, am I putting myself in the best positions to be around the healthier people, more positive people? Am I going to the bars or the clubs, or am I going to like networking events or conferences, right? Where people that actually reflect the positivity and the ambition, the things that I actually want to find for where I'm trying to go in my life. Okay, strategy, got it. Then how much am I getting into the action of finding those conferences, finding those networking events and going to them? Just going online right now, finding one, joining a Facebook group or whatever, and buying my ticket to the next conference, booking it right now, not thinking about it, right? And just doing, right? The execution consistently. After I went to that one event, that I look for another one and another one, just to keep it going. All those are really crucial. And if you think about it, the formula doesn't change. Maybe the focal point does, but the formula is always tried and true. Philosophy, belief system first, right? That serves me. Well vetted. You have to work through how it's helpful, loving, positive, feeding your spirit and building you up, right? Then, all right, a really well-designed game plan of how I can execute my philosophy towards my end goal. And then what am I going to do? Set into a calendar daily, action stepwise to expedite this. How do I get there sooner? Against my prior wiring. How do I just blindly follow all the work I've laid out by working through my philosophy, getting my strategy, and now just executing? You apply that no matter what it is to your life, you're going to start getting way different results than you ever expected. The only thing you have to expect is it's going to take whatever time it requires to take. Don't be so focused on the end result. Focus more on the journey. And I guarantee you're going to get some life-changing results or outcomes. And focus more on who you're becoming versus what you're getting out of it. Yes, the eye is always on the prize. We want what we're getting out of it. But focus more on what this journey is doing for you and who you are being. And focus on loving that than being so harped on when you get there. Because you'll find that you'll get there a lot faster than you expect sometimes. But you'll also just enjoy the ride more, and you'll look up and, oh, I'm here at the end goal. It happened, right? To where it seems like it happened in the blink of an eye. The more you're focused in the right place versus being so obsessed over the outcome. If you want help learning how to actually implement this formula, to really work it into your life to change everything around you, your life, your relationships, and everything else, then email or DM me the word coaching and we'll get to work, as long as you're truly ready to put that work in. If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, don't have the time or the space, I get it. But at least email or DM me the word revival to join my Relationship Revival Hub community, where I can help you learn the same things I teach my clients, life and relationship wise, one-on-one at your own pace on your own time. Either way, do something to get in the race. Let's get it.